Ah, presidential debates. It's like watching a political version of the Hunger Games, except instead of bows and arrows, they use carefully crafted sound bites and awkward hand gestures. In this corner we have the incumbent, Joe Biden. He's hoping to convince America he deserves 4 more years. In the other corner, the challenger, Donald Trump. He's back, folks, and ready to reclaim his title. Buckle up, America, because this debate is about to go full WWE. This isn't just about red states versus blue states. This is about the future of America. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let the political slugfest begin. First up, let's talk about Biden's game plan. He wants to paint a picture of a nation back on track after the tumultuous Trump years. Jobs, booming, economy, growing. He'll point to the bipartisan infrastructure bill like a shiny new toy, proof that he can work across the aisle. And don't forget healthcare. Biden wants to expand the Affordable Care Act, making sure more Americans have access to affordable care. He'll remind everyone that Trump tried to dismantle it, which, let's be honest, is not exactly a winning healthcare strategy. Of course, no Biden highlight reel would be complete without mentioning climate change. He'll talk about rejoining the Paris Agreement, investing in clean energy and saving the planet, one solar panel at a time. It's a far cry from Trump's stance of climate change is a hoax invented by the Chinese. And then there's COVID-19. Biden will undoubtedly remind everyone of the vaccine rollout, the efforts to combat the pandemic, and the importance of listening to scientists. Of course, it wouldn't be a debate without some uncomfortable topics. For Biden, that means addressing the elephant in the room, or rather, the elephant at the border. Immigration is a hot-button issue, and Biden's handling of the southern border has drawn criticism from both sides of the aisle. Expect some heated exchanges on this one. Then there's the issue of crime. Rising crime rates across the country are a major concern for voters, and Biden will need to convince them that he has a plan to tackle it. He'll likely talk about supporting law enforcement while also addressing systemic issues within the criminal justice system. And let's not forget about Afghanistan. The chaotic withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan was a major foreign policy blunder, and Biden will face tough questions about his handling of the situation. And finally, there's the issue of inflation. With prices rising on everything from groceries to gas, Biden will need to address the economic anxieties of everyday Americans. Expect him to blame global factors while also highlighting his administration's efforts to combat inflation. Now let's move on to Trump's corner. His strategy? To convince America that they were better off under his leadership. He'll likely dust off his old Make America Great Again hat and talk about the strong economic performance during his first term. Remember those pre-COVID days when the economy was humming along? Trump wants you to remember. He'll also tout his signature legislative achievement, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Expect him to argue that these tax cuts benefited all Americans, not just the wealthy, despite ample evidence to the contrary. Immigration? Trump will undoubtedly bring up his border wall, even though it's been more of a symbolic gesture than an effective deterrent. He'll also hammer home his message of law and order, appealing to voters who are concerned about crime and safety. Finally, Trump will likely highlight his foreign policy achievements, such as the Abraham Accords and his negotiations with North Korea. Of course, he'll conveniently gloss over the parts where he praised authoritarian leaders and alienated America's allies. Section 5. Trump's baggage claim. Can he outrun his past? Trump's biggest challenge in this debate, his own past. He'll face a barrage of questions about his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, which, let's just say, wasn't exactly a shining moment in his presidency. Remember when he suggested injecting bleach? Yeah, good times. And then there's the small matter of the January 6th Capitol riot. Trump's role in inciting the insurrection is still under investigation, and you can bet that this will be a major topic of discussion during the debate. His tax returns will also likely come up, as will his various business dealings and potential conflicts of interest. Trump has a long and storied history of avoiding accountability, but he won't be able to dodge these questions forever. And let's not forget about healthcare. Trump spent years trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act without offering a viable replacement plan. He'll need to convince voters that he actually has a plan to improve healthcare in America, which, let's be honest, is a tall order. Finally, there's the issue of election integrity. Trump has repeatedly made baseless claims about the 2020 election being stolen without providing any evidence to support his allegations. He'll likely continue to push this narrative during the debate, which, at this point, is about as surprising as a bear relieving itself in the woods. Section 6. The Roe v. Wade Showdown, a nation divided. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Roe v. Wade. With the Supreme Court overturning the landmark abortion rights ruling, this issue is more contentious than ever. Biden, a staunch supporter of abortion rights, will likely advocate for codifying Roe v. Wade into law. He'll paint the issue as one of women's rights and bodily autonomy. Trump, on the other hand, will likely celebrate the overturning of Roe v. Wade and reiterate his support for returning the issue to the states. He'll likely try to appeal to his conservative base by framing the issue as one of religious freedom and states' rights. This issue is a powder keg, and it's sure to ignite some fiery exchanges between the two candidates. Buckle up, folks, because this is about to get real. Section 7. Gloves off. The debate gets personal. As the debate heats up, expect both candidates to resort to personal attacks. Trump, never one to shy away from a good insult, will likely dust off some of his old nicknames for Biden, like Sleepy Joe or Beijing Biden. He'll likely try to paint Biden as too old and feeble to lead the country. Biden, for his part, will likely try to maintain a more presidential demeanor. However, he'll also need to be prepared to defend himself against Trump's attacks. He might point to Trump's own age, he's not exactly a spring chicken himself, or his lack of experience in government. This is where things could get ugly. Personal attacks rarely elevate the discourse, but they often make for good television. So grab your popcorn and get ready for some mudslinging. Section 8. Fact-checking frenzy, separating truth from fiction. As the candidates trade barbs and make promises, it's important to remember that not everything they say will be entirely accurate. Expect a lot of spin, half-truths, and outright fabrications. That's where fact-checkers come in. Journalists and fact-checking organizations will be working overtime during the debate, scrutinizing every claim and holding the candidates accountable for their words. So, while you're watching the debate, keep your phone handy and be prepared to do some fact-checking of your own. Don't just take their word for it. Do your own research and form your own opinions. Section 9. The people have spoken post-debate reactions. After the debate, the spin cycle will begin in earnest. Surrogates for both candidates will flood the airwaves, praising their candidate's performance and spinning any negative moments. Social media will be buzzing with reactions, memes, and hot takes. Pay attention to how different demographics respond to the debate. Did Biden connect with young voters? Did Trump shore up his base? The post-debate reactions can be just as revealing as the debate itself. But remember, social media is just one slice of the pie. Talk to your friends, family, and co-workers to get their perspectives. Section 10. And the winner is... analyzing the impacts. So, who won the debate? It's a question that will be debated, pun intended, ad nauseum in the days and weeks following the event. Pundits will dissect every word, every gesture, every facial expression. Polls will be conducted to gauge public opinion. But the real winner of the debate won't be decided by pundits or polls. It will be decided by the voters. Did the debate change anyone's mind? Did it energize voters to head to the polls? The impact of the debate on the election remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure, this is just the beginning. Section 11. The final bell. Your vote, your voice. The first presidential debate is just one event in a long and arduous election cycle, but it's an important one. It's a chance for voters to see the candidates side by side, to hear their visions for the future, and to hold them accountable for their words and actions. So, pay attention, stay informed, and most importantly, vote. Your voice matters. The future of America is at stake. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And that's our show. We'll be right back after these messages. Please subscribe to the channel.